Well, Jim, speaking of getting to the bottom of things, and before we get to Dynamite, let's quickly bring up, I don't know how quickly it'll be, but you trended again. I don't even know if it's again, it was just part of the overall trend that was happening and you got swept up in.
I was already trending and I received a boost to trend for a few more days.
Well, Adam Pearce, someone you previously worked with in Ring of Honor and who is now I think he's the general manager of Raw, is the official title.
Yes.
He's been on WWE TV for a number of years. Everyone seems to like him except for merchandise weasels. I mean, everyone else has good things to say about him. And he decided to tweet out that he was wearing a very special outfit for Monday Night Raw, and it caused some people to get quite upset. And I know we'll talk about Raw later on, but also Pat McAfee would then make a mention referring to the outfit. And again, it caused other people, oh my God, I can't believe he said it!
I think McAfee may have not gotten the flack that Adam did because he just made the comment on television. It's not like people could reply to that instantaneously from their phone or whatever. But poor Adam continuing the joke that was peripherally about me, as we'll get to in a second. He makes a tweet, and every degenerate dumb fuck and fake person on Twitter immediately clogged up his goddamn tweeting machine. So we apologize to poor Adam for having to deal with a bunch of knuckleheads, because apparently, he's been doing things on Twitter, saying things on Twitter, appearing on Twitter for years and years now, and nobody's decided to hop on to him until it's not the WWE fans. It's this sub-genre of subhuman with, 72 different accounts apiece that decided to hop on him and scream at him for no reason. So we apologize for poor Adam to have to block 14 people with 72 accounts apiece. But nevertheless, having said that, it's a surprise that I'm friends with Adam Pearce. We worked together in Ring of Honor 15 years ago. I've told the stories of our days in Ring of Honor and him telling Carrie Silk and fuck Sid and Ross, the merchandise weasel, and blah, blah, and the whole hee-haw gang. We enjoyed working together. Why is it a surprise? I've never had bad things to say about him that we would be friends suddenly. But nevertheless, what happened was, because they're doing the draft on the WWE shows, and the red is for Raw and the blue is for SmackDown, then Adam Pearce wears and I must admit, it was beautiful. And he pulled it up. Blood red sport jacket and matching tie, black shirt, black pocket square. Very striking look, very reminiscent of another person's look back in the old days, but I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot. But anyway, as he's going out to do with some of the draft picks, they get a shot of him in this outfit. He makes some comments. As he's walking off, they're going to the break. Pat McAfee says, "Hey, grab a tennis racket, Pearce." Because he knows he's ribbing fucking Adam, right? He looks like Cornette. Got it in before the break. It's just a little joust. It means nothing to their audience or in their universe because it's so much bigger than AEW's. But because of that, once that Adam heard about the little fucking rib that McAfee did, he tweets out Sweet Stan Lane's introduction, saying, "Tonight's suit was brought to you by your friend and mine, Mr. Jim Cornette." And that's when all the fake people on Twitter lost their minds. The AEW sub-genre of dweller that have all the multiple accounts, because I figured it out now, because they all have either pictures of Japanese anime characters. Many of them are up front and mention AEW or We Heart Wrestling in their bio. Many of them say that they're women when there's no way that these people are women. They may be men desperately wishing they could speak to women. And they all say the same thing, or they quote tweet the same fucking people, or the same people with the same kind of thing. And they hopped all over at him like, how can you be friends with this human being and defend him? He says this and that and an est and all this other stuff. And just with their fucking screaming heads, so they are not
He's
real.
awful, so now we're allowed to harass you!
Yes, it's like, how could you ever have spoken to or worked with this subhuman being that it's like I'm Paul Pot or something?
Every single person other than the Bucks, Owens, and Generico loved working with you.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the point. And actually, Generico and I would have probably been good if Steen hadn't been around. Fat ass fucking drove a wedge with everybody. But the point is that for the past 40 years, the only people that I have worked with or for or that have worked for me that I have any issue with or that there has been problems with are the people that I came across that either got into business on a gift and didn't appreciate it, the Russos, the Ferraras, the Dunns, or the indie-minded fucking indie-rific outlaw bullshit crew that can get by with only when people think wrestling is supposed to be silly because they can't do it right. Otherwise, I believe we went through the mathematics that one time, Brian, and figured that I technically have never asked for a job in the wrestling business in my life. From the time that Jerry Jarrett asked me, do you want to be a manager? To modern day, I've never asked to be booked. Everyone came to me. I didn't rudely throw myself at them. And most of the people that I've worked for enjoyed the experience and felt they got something out of it. And again, the Jim Herds, the people that lucked into being in the wrestling business and didn't deserve it. Everybody else, from the dawn of my career to the time that I said, fuck it, I'm staying home, was pretty fucking happy in one way or another. Imagine that.
Yeah, whenever you see like one of those guys from the era you were active in the business do like an interview or something, and someone says, what about Jim Cornette? They smile first, and then they say, oh, I love Jim Cornette. And then they have some kind of crazy story about something you did. It's never that motherfucker. Well, it's every now and then there is, but usually it's someone that, you know, there's a reason for it. But usually it's, oh, I love that guy, and here's a story. But the fans, again, there are fans who can't take the fact that you reject the wrestling they like, whatever that may be. And because of that, you should be canceled. Anyone who associates you should be canceled, but they're okay. They're above board.
Well, yeah, and also you'll notice that people that have never met me, talked to me on the phone, or worked with me in any capacity hate my fucking guts. So I got that going for me. But anyway, so that's what happened again for, you know, poor Adam's Twitter, just trying to make innocuous little jokes, you know, with McAfee and a little elbow in the ribs to me, and suddenly everybody thinks he's a heinous person because he would associate with me. But as we've discovered now, I think it's, again, they do the same things, they say the same things, they tweet the same things, their profiles look the same. Is this really what's left of the AEW audience is fighting ever harder to try to discredit people because of their favorite taint tickling wrestlers? And they've got to mount this kind of shit thinking that it's going to make a fucking difference to me or anybody else?
You know, there's a professor who just put out another book. His name's Scott Galloway, and he appears on Bill Maher every now and then, and he's on TV every now and then. And he said it the other day, and it sounds crass, but if you really think about it, there's too many people who don't get laid. And because of that, there's this built up anger and frustration, and especially when you're insulting or putting down or joking about something they love, it's almost like you're taking something away from them personally because they have nothing else. And I think if more of the crazed wrestling fans on Twitter had companionship, even if it's just a hooker, I think it would really help. And I know it sounds like I'm making a joke, but I'm very serious. I think that's one of the big problems. And he said it out loud on that show. And I was like, man, finally, someone's saying it. More of these ninnies need to get laid.
But now they may be ninnies or they may be nattering nabobs of negativity. But I say this to you, Brian, since again you're a bi fan. You're both a wrestling fan and a baseball fan. You're two sports, so you're a bi fan.
That's right. I'm bisexual. If you buy me something, I'll have sex with you.
Well, there you and again, I'm trisexual. I'll try anything. So in baseball, if a retired baseball player of some repute, doesn't have to be a goddamn Hall of Fame, guy, just somebody that made it out of the minor leagues, is somehow as a broadcaster or as a columnist or a commentator or whatever they're doing in the modern baseball world, retired great baseball player or moderately good baseball player, now he's commentating on the sport in some fashion. If he says, I don't know what they see in this guy in fucking San Diego, he's a goddamn shits to me, his form is horrible, he drops his pants when he slides into home base, whatever. Do that guy's fans in San Diego scream at this fucking guy for, well, fuck you. He's the greatest baseball player we've ever seen. Or is it just in this fucking hokey fucking business?
There are crazy fans everywhere. But with wrestling, specifically the online fan, and again, not all the online fans, not everyone on a message board is a nut. It just so happens that a lot of the nuts congregate on message boards or Discord servers or Twitter, whatever the forum is. You get people that are like, hey, I really like wrestling and I really just kind of want to converse with other people about it. And then there are people like, I am wrestling. You have to acknowledge my mental skill when it comes to knowing this stuff. And now I'll pounce on you. And if you don't like something I don't like, I will find a way to get rid of you. It's all that shit. And it's too much of it.
When they went from the fans, they went from just kind of knowing it was a work, but nothing about how, to thinking that they're smart and that everything was always scripted and laid out and produced and etc. And basically what they believe is fake, even though it was anything from fake. They think anybody can fucking do it. Anybody can fucking write it, which is Tony Khan's syndrome. We'll talk about here in a second. And as a result, they don't respect it for what it used to be and what it sometimes still is at a high level. Because they're fucking morons. And they need to keep their mouth shut. And I don't mean to offend you, Brian, to quote a person you're not a fan of, but know your fucking role, you little twits. People say to me, Cornette, your company went out of business. Yes, the company that I had that went out of business versus the company that you never fucking had. You couldn't keep company. That's you only booked for 7 different places as opposed to you booking a room at the Super 8. Who are you minuscule peons, you amoeba swimming downstream from the nuclear plant to fucking critique anything I've done in the wrestling business? When you couldn't smell my farts, I went past you so quick.
And again, the thing is, these are all people that would have been worshiping you, but they kind of went with that schism where all of a sudden you became the boogeyman for the guys in Ring of Honor that couldn't do whatever they wanted when you were there. And when you were gone, Jim Cornette became the boogeyman. And they used that. And the Young Bucks used you as this villain in their head to build themselves up with fans. But now look at where we are. Who do you think has more fans today, Jim Cornette or the Young Bucks? Today.
We can compare numbers. So we'll be doing it by the end of this program.
But again, there's a lot of fans that can't cope, and you keep trending because of it. But I think the interesting thing is whether it was the Swerve Strickland artwork or this, yeah, there are some real vocal ninny fans, and a lot of them just breathtakingly ignorant. And a lot of them just don't understand the irony of how they're behaving versus what they claim they're calling people out for. But the amount of feedback we've seen on social media in different places, the people actually going the other way. No, We listen to him. You're wrong. I think that's kind of been one of the interesting stories in the last week. The pushback from the audience, the people that actually spend their time and listen to these shows every week, telling the other people, fuck you. Fuck you. Go out, get a job, and get your dick sucked.
Not necessarily in that order.
Probably in that order. You need a job. You need some money. You're a bum. Take a shower. This goes for a lot of you.
Are you done?
I'm done.
With the venting at these people? But nevertheless, we'll continue to be here to trend and inspire fashion and set new standards for broadcasting, just as we always do. But we appreciate it because every time, as I said, all 14 people with 72 accounts apiece, do the math, I can't in my head, do this. We get new subscribers and new people actually listening, saying, well, I gotta hear what the fuck this guy is saying. He's got to be full of shit. He's got to be a complete maniac. He's got a point. And we get new listeners because they want to hear for themselves how we could be saying these horrible, villainous things in public, and it come to find out we're not. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
And again, you always hate when other people get caught in the crossfire. So if you're someone who appreciates the good work that Adam Cole, I was about to say, that Adam Pearce does each and every week, please, when you go to a WWE event, bring a red rose to symbolize the red suit and try to hand it to him and see how far you get.
Yeah, or just throw them at him. Throw flowers at his feet as he walks to the ring. Red roses.
They have to be red.
Red roses for Red Rover. Come on over. But can you imagine if some night they just decided to, when they go back to Milwaukee, Adam's hometown, they should throw red roses at his feet as he walks to the ring. It'd be the greatest visual in the history of wrestling. Boy, they really like the general manager here in fucking, he's from Green Bay. Well, fuck, they'll never go back to Green Bay.
And if these people were this upset about him wearing a red suit, wait until they find out you're the new GM of WWE Speed.
Well, hey, that's because I can't last as long as I used to. So they had to get me in and out quick. But, all right.
Well, there's the trending news. But, Jim, if you want to hear that news or any other news, there's the wrestling news. But how do you hear the wrestling news? You may need something in your ears. What better time than now to go to our first spot? Our good friends at Raycon.
I'll tell you what, have you heard the big news? Not only did Raycon successfully have a tick removed from their side, but they have just launched their upgraded model of the best-selling everyday earbuds. Have you heard about this, Brian? The big improvements, the renovations, the paint-up, clean-up, fix-up, the remodeling, the refreshing, the all-new rebirth and reformation of the everyday earbuds. Have you heard about what you get?
I've heard about it. I've received one. This is exciting. These are all new, and we've been enjoying Raycon's products for years. It's a whole new kick right now.
Stacy got a set of these. You know, because of my hearing difficulties, I tend to have some echoes in my head if I try to stick anything in any holes, really, top to bottom. But Stacy loves them, and she listens to the podcasts and the wrestling news, and she listens to the music that the kids play these days. And she loves them because she just got them because in addition to all the other features that we've talked about, now you also get active noise cancellation. And that means that if anybody within like 500 yards is moving around making noise, they will drop over right there and cease making noise.
I don't think that's the way it works. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure.
You can't be active around. You have to be completely fucking still. You can't make any noise. Also, there's an ergonomic design. Now, this is kind of like, it's going to find the G spot in your ear canal. Imagine kind of a round, then with an ergonomically designed flat thing that could serve as almost a tongue to go into your, it's an ergonomic design. It's amazing. So you can insert these things and then you start twirling them around. Don't forget the lube, ladies and gentlemen. And also,
what is wrong with you? What are you talking? You don't need lube for any of these, and there's no G spot in your ear, and the phone is ringing.
That's why it's ergonomic, because it goes right in your ear. And the new upgraded everyday earbuds also have multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with two devices at once. You can have one going in each direction at each end at the same time. And they're available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any and all skin tones. Unfortunately, mine turned out to be green. So they have a thing, they'll match you. Just send them a picture and they'll match you. Mine turned out to be green, but they have new vibrant colors. Apparently, I'm just not vibrant enough. But apparently, they've got earbuds in colors that you've never seen before for people that have yet to land on this planet. But if you get close enough to your shade there, they'll disappear, is what I'm told. Not completely literally. You won't be able to see them. They'll still be in your ears. You'll still be able to hear them. But already they had the optimized gel tips. Already they had the various multi-part functions that made the everyday earbuds what that. Now they've got a quick charge function. And also they're weatherproof if you get the IP66s, and or they're sweat resistant. And you know that for a lot of people today, I've noticed that they sweat like pouring piss out of a boot. Just running down their fucking face. They're soaked, their underarms, their crotchal area. Looks like they fell in a fucking fish pond. That's going to rot your goddamn earbuds over time. So these are sweat resistant. You can pour rain on these things all day long with that sweat coming out of your fucking various pores, and nothing will happen to them. Have you tried that, Brian? Have you gone out and just worked up a real good sweat?
I mean, I've worn the Raycon earbuds while exercising, but I haven't had the level of downpour that you're talking about.
Oh, see, if you get a really good stink going on, just in any old generic earbud, it'll fucking turn green on you and start fucking rotting. And then you've got the rust to think about, and that harms the sound quality when you're listening through rust and ear rot. So these things being sweat resistant, you can be as big of a pig as you want to be, and it'll still sound fine. Their upgraded model will blow you away.
Away.
Sorry, it was a different line there. I thought, well, that's really upgraded. God damn. How do they even make a little thing like that, dude? But anyway, you're going to be asking yourself why you didn't check them out sooner. That's what I'm asking myself. Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. You get these things for the first 30 days, you're going to be delirious. And after that, it's up to you. Go to buyraycon.com/JCE today to get 20% off your Raycon order and free shipping. 20% off and free shipping. So that's, in effect, more percent off at buyraycon, BUYRAYCON.com/JCE.